I have carefully studied and replayed the judgment by Magistrate Toinette Olivier, and I am now satisfied that there is no racism. The learned magistrate considered the evidence that was placed before her, and I also now understand why she took 3 days.
But if the courts are really fair, he will at least get some years imprisonment, which will mean the absolute end of the EFF, because the EFF without Julius Malema is basically nothing. There's nothing left of the EFF if Julius Malema is not there anymore. All the other big names in the EFF already left the party, and my prediction is the entire party will fall apart if this happens.
If we sit behind and let Malema go to jail, this is the part I will really know that Africans are cowards.
Is this the day where Juju is given his sentence? Is he sleeping Kohoshi Mampuri? And the answer is no, a big fat no. Pre-sentencing is just any other normal day in court where they're going to be talking about or making submissions and arguments to discuss the appropriate sentence for him. Okay, that's all.
Hello and welcome to the channel. Let's take a look at this update on Julius Malema. He was not available at the ad hoc committee in Parliament to go and face the magistrate once again in East London, and the EFF and all the fighters have painted East London red. So he's still gonna come back again for the official sentencing. We'll take a look at the thoughts and sentiments around what he could possibly face, and then we also take a look at those that are for and those that are against. Please give this video a thumbs up as we take a look at the fighters and all that is going on. Go Lingy, please give this video a thumbs up. Let's take a look.
At no point is the magistrate going to say, okay, I'm going to give you 10 years. Bye, Oshimbabu. Bye, like Sun City. Bye. No, that's not gonna happen. Hey, SANDF, hey, drama, and you must get used to the fact that EFF in Waka timing, guys. We don't just do things because we are doing things. Mara akile so you've been conditioned to think that EFF is full of illiterates nje. But there's another party like that. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the EFF. Okay, so if you were thinking you're gonna buy a bottle to celebrate, like some of you have been saying, that bottle is still gonna stay long. Bona fighters, Amanda, let's go out and support Dango.
So I already saw many tweets of people saying apartheid is back or apartheid is coming back or whatever the case may be. But what the court actually just found was that Malema clearly took the firearm from his previous bodyguard without the bodyguard's consent, and somehow they came to that conclusion. I don't know how. And what is the sentence that Julius Malema should receive for each of these charges? Now, if he's convicted on all counts under our law, he could theoretically receive a maximum sentence that could exceed 25 years. But in practice, South African courts usually let sentences run concurrently, so the total will be less. So let's say he gets the full 15 years on both those counts. It will only be 15 years in total because both will run concurrently. But in South Africa, usually people get light sentences overall for crimes they commit, because courts usually do a blended sentence where there's usually a fine, and then there's also a suspended part of his sentence, and then also there's a part of his sentence that he actually has to go to jail for. Now, in the case of Julius Malema, we know this is a very politically sensitive case. you're sitting with millions of people supporting Julius Malema in this because race politics in South Africa is the order of the day, and race politics rules all in South Africa. And as I said, there's already a massive campaign on social media saying that Julius Malema is a victim of a new apartheid court system. And I don't want to go into all the ridiculous things they are saying, but the fact remains there is backlash against this. And because of this, usually courts are afraid to hand down high sentences. And this comes down to the person, to the actual magistrate that's in charge of this court, whether they will do this, because it's usually a game of intimidation. So while Malema technically faces up to 15 years, especially because the firearm was a semi-automatic rifle, a realistic outcome on the higher end would probably be a few years imprisonment, probably also suspended in part, if not suspended at all, but we'll get to that, and plus a fine, which would probably be quite a large fine. Um, the lower end would be that that he still gets the prison sentence, but the entire prison sentence is suspended. Of course, Julius Malema can also not sit as a member of parliament anymore. So yeah, Julius Malema, even if he does get the lighter sentence, is taken out of the game. But what would be deserved for him is to get something more up into the higher spectrum of the prescribed penalties for the crimes of which he has just been committed.
Evidence was placed before Magistrate Olivier, and her conclusion was that that evidence was credible, it was reliable, and it was truthful. And amongst such evidence, it is the ballistic testimony. People are being misled that someone is being targeted. People must learn to behave responsibly, especially if they are leaders. Worse, if those people are lawmakers sitting in parliament making the laws that they want us to adhere to when they are not adhering to them.
Well, there you have it. Those are some of the views and sentiments coming in there. The more details, please do follow them on various social media platforms and, of course, here on YouTube to get a broader sense of their contributions to this topic, because kuningi and there are lots of charges, up to 6 charges that unfortunately Malema was found guilty of. And also note that this has actually put more fire into the EFF. You saw how they are painting the town red around East London, even other areas that have not gone to East London, other branches, they are in support of Julius Malema, giving them more reason and more fire for the upcoming local government elections. So, there's that thing where they say there's no such a thing as bad publicity. Some of the people feel that Malema was targeted, also considering how this case ended up in court. We have AfriForum, Solidarity, rather. We have also the DA joining in, and the private citizen also that was part of the case. Now we saw that Malema was found guilty and his bodyguard was found not guilty. So that's why people are like, this judgment is taking. But we know that the EFF did vow last year that they will follow the law. That's why they went in there in their numbers to support the court proceedings, as they say, while others are saying this is some sort of intimidation. So many people outside, and then they also vowed that whatever the outcome, they will take it to the next court and appeal this judgment. So they're just waiting for the judgment, not for the judgment, rather the sentence sentencing. After the sentencing, then they will be lodging an appeal to the High Court, the Appeals Court, the Constitutional Court, all the way up there if they have to. That is what they had previously said. However, maybe if the sentencing is lenient, a lot of suspended sentencing involved, just fines, maybe they might accept it. However, it will still limit Malema in terms of his participation in South African politics, so they might still fight it anyway. Kwaze kwashuba in South Africa. Now, obviously, people are on the watch for a situation that could be similar to rather what we saw in July, when there was that July unrest when Jacob Zuma was arrested, and we saw that Dudu Zuma is still even attending a case linked to that July unrest. So AMA fighters must be careful, but it looks like they are orderly people. At this point, we are waiting and watching how this one develops. But you can see that Malema is confident. What are your thoughts on how this is going for him? Is this a witch hunt, or is he just facing the law like everybody in South Africa? Please give this video a thumbs up, and let's meet on the next video. Bye.